Hello, this is Dennis Horvath. I am the SAP SME, and today I'm presenting common SAP terms. The goal here is to get it familiar enough with these terms so that when you're talking with customers, you can ask them more detailed questions. This will lead to a better understanding of the customer's environment and will reveal some of their pains. In this video, we're going to start with SAP Basics, then move to the component level. In the next video, we'll cover the SAP front ends and some of the ways SAP communicates, and then some important transaction codes inside SAP, and finally I'll show you where the demos are and how to get to them. Now, first up is SAP. As you can see, it's been around for quite some time and has gone through many logo changes. Officially, SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products, but most customers will come up with their own variations based on their perception of their environment. So ask them what they think SAP stands for. This will give you a first indication of problems and areas where we can help. SAP has its own programming language called ABAP. This is what the traditional SAP installations were developed in and stands for Advanced Business Application Programming. This is a high-level programming language that is still being enhanced, so it'll be around for some time. This is also what our SAP agent is written in and is why we get such deep insights into SAP applications. Now, SAP runs on what is called the NetWeaver platform. This platform contains all the shared components and services that all installations have in common. The NetWeaver version is also how we determine our support, which starts at version 7.0, Enhancement Package 1, Service Pack 15 and up. The NetWeaver platform can also be Java-based in the case of SAP's portal application. This is where we get into the details. SAP servers are called instances, and the first install is known as the central instance or CI, and would control things like load balancing and connections. If extra capacity is needed, additional instances can be added and would be called dialog instances or DI. A system is made up of one or more SAP instances. Here you can see a central instance with two dialog instances, which make up an ERP QA system and would be referred to as simply ERQ. The ERQ name is called the SAP System Identifier or SID. This is a unique 3-digit alphanumeric identification of every SAP system. An SAP landscape is comprised of two or more of these systems and is most commonly made up of 3 systems or tiers like Dev, Q, and Prod, but could be more tiers like a sandbox or even a second QA. An SAP instance runs on the OS as a service and starts with the parameters held in the instance profile. These parameters control how the system is utilized and tuned. This is why we monitor them with DataVart Insights, as putting in non-tested parameters could have negative consequences or even prevent the system from starting at all. Once the start command is given, the system loads the core components of SAP called the kernel. The kernel consists of all the executable files that run on the server to handle connections to the system and execute the code. One of the first processes the kernel starts is called the SAP message server. It is responsible for communication between the application servers by passing requests from one application server to another within the system. Another key component is called the SAP dispatcher. Its job is to handle the user request and find an available work process to execute the program. These work processes are what really get things done, and here you can see the different types and what they're responsible for. These, for the most part, can be changed on the fly depending on the needs of the system. However, to add or remove the total number of them would require a restart. The SAP dispatcher is basically a load balancer and direct the SAP HTTP traffic. This usually runs on a separate machine somewhere in the DMZ. The SAP components, or sometimes called modules, make up what the system is used for. So on top of the NetWeaver platform, they're installed. They run the specific processes that make up an ERP, BW, or CRM system, and because each system is unique, SAP has allowed the ability to add additional components if needed. This would mean an ERP system would run by default the financial and controlling components, but others could be added like workflow or financial services. A BW system is used for reporting and would require the business warehouse components. BW's main function is to pull data from other systems, which could be both SAP and non, then publish the data in the form of reports to a front end like SAP Portal. This means that when BW is in play, you should always follow up with at least 2 questions. where does BW pull data from, and how do users run the reports. This could lead to at least 2 other systems we could help monitor. We have out-of-the-box dashboards for both ERP and BW systems. Now we've covered the basic SAP definitions and some of their components and processes. In the next video, we will learn about the different front ends and some ways SAP communicates, and then also the available demos.